Hi guys, this is Simon C. Welcome to this new AI Radar. Today I have for you 3 articles about concerns about artificial intelligence. Olaf Groth, Mark Nitzberg, Stuart Russell argue on Wired that AI algorithms need FDA-Style drug trials. They provide an example in which adaptive reinforcement learning algorithms that custom select content for malleable humans can have drastically different and pernicious side effects on a global scale and ultimately erode civility and trust in society, they argue. To protect the cognitive autonomy of individuals and the political health of society at large, we need to make the function and application of algorithms transparent, they say, and the American Food and Drug Administration provides a useful model because it requires controlled testing on animals to establish safety and then more testing on small populations to establish efficacy. Only then can a company offer a new drug to the masses. They say an equivalent digital testing process would have to mitigate the potential harm to people and society, regardless of developers' motives. They suggest that an oversight body would need to be authoritative like the FDA and employ the deep technical know-how of ICANN. It would need a cross-domain team of experts to grasp the breadth of society. It will need to employ system-level testing, observe how the software works, and model the second and third order effects it could have across society. They say this technology would resemble the methods that political scientists and intelligence agencies use to build computational models of societies undergoing perturbations like food crisis and epidemics, and with tools that test for both resilience and ripple effects in place, we might then implement a stepwise release process similar to the stages of FDA testing. Trials moving from these sandbox simulations to a small group of users and then on to the market as a whole. On the Atlantic, starting from questions like how artificial intelligence evolution will affect human perception, cognition, and interaction, and what will be its impact on our culture and history. These 3 experts, Henry Kissinger, Eric Schmidt, and Daniel Huttenlocher, engage in framing a detailed set of questions about the significance of artificial intelligence development for human civilization, and they report their thoughts on the Atlantic indeed. Last December, AlphaZero trained itself entirely by self-play and in less than 24 hours became the best chess player in the world by enabling a process of self-learning for inanimate objects like AlphaZero. We don't yet know what we are starting, but we need to find out, they argue. How can we explain AlphaZero's capacity to invent a new approach to chess on the basis of every brief learning period? Will AI lead to an as yet unimaginable expansion of familiar reality? They ask. The constant improvement of artificial intelligence will transform human life. For example, if artificial intelligence develops new weapons, strategies, and tactics by simulation and other clandestine methods, control becomes elusive and not impossible, they argue. And they ask, how will policymakers understand the views and abilities of their adversaries and perhaps even allies? Will many different internets emerge, or in the end only one? What will be the implication for cooperation, for confrontation? They go on arguing that it is possible that in many parts of the world, from early childhood onward, The primary sources of interaction and knowledge will be not family members, friends, or teachers, but rather digital companions. What happens when these devices become even more sophisticated, they ask. Will people become as attached to their digital pets as to their dogs, or perhaps even more so? More generally, as AI becomes ubiquitous, how will it be regulated and monitored? As we enter a world where people are taught by artificial intelligence, they ask, will there be the AI equivalent of approved school textbooks? How should we respond to the inevitable evolution AI will impose on our understanding of truth and reality? Efforts in this direction must be undertaken according to 3 time horizons in their view. What we already know, what we are sure to discover in the near future, and what we are likely to discover when artificial intelligence becomes widespread. The 3 differ in the extent to which we are optimists about AI, but they agree that its change in human knowledge, perception, and reality, and in so doing changing the course of human history. Additionally, they seek to understand it and its consequences and encourage others across disciplines to do the same. Deep. On the New Yorker, Internet and computer professor Jonathan Zittrain wrote about the hidden costs of automated thinking. He calls intellectual depth the answers first, explanations later approach to discovery. In some cases, he says we pay off this intellectual depth quickly, but in others we let it compound, relying for decades on knowledge that's not fully known. In the past, intellectual depth has been confined to a few areas amenable to trial and error discovery, such as medicine, but he thinks that may be changing as new techniques in artificial intelligence, like machine learning, increase our collective intellectual credit line. Indeed, intellectual depth accrued through machine learning features risks beyond the ones created through old-style trial and error. Because most machine learning models cannot offer reasons for their ongoing judgments, there is no way to tell when they've misfired if one doesn't already have an independent judgment about the answers they provide. Though there are already many libraries attempting to do that. Software libraries. Misfires can be rare in a well-trained system, he says, but they can also be triggered intentionally by someone who knows just what kind of data to feed into that system. Building and maintaining a society-wide intellectual data balance sheet will probably require refining our approach to trade secrets and other intellectual property. He says that the growing pervasiveness of machine learning models, and the fact that anyone can create one promise to make this process of accounting difficult. But he thinks it's vital. Indeed, taken in isolation, oracular answers can generate consistently helpful results, but these systems won't stay in isolation, as artificial intelligence systems gather and ingest the worst data. They produce data of their own, much of which will be taken up by still other systems, he points out. Just as drugs with unknown mechanisms of action sometimes interact, so too will depth-laden algorithms. A word of knowledge without understanding becomes a word without discernible cause and effect, he points out, in which we grow dependent on our digital concierges to tell us what to do and when. Much of the timely criticism of artificial intelligence, has rightly focused on the way in which it can go wrong. We should also worry about what will happen when artificial intelligence gets it right, the intellectual depth might increase exponentially indeed. Okay guys, it's all for today. See you next time with AI Radar. Bye.